to the Jews a stumbling block. When we look at some of how Jewish thought has approached the problem of knowing God, we see a different conclusion. If you were to ask a pious Jew who is rooted in and committed to the historical faith of their ancestors and ask them, who is God? They would answer like the Old Testament does. God is the one who delivered us from slavery in Egypt. He parted the Red Sea. He fed the people with manna from heaven. He led them into the promised land. He defeated their enemies. But if after this response was given, you were to press further, saying, wonderful, you have told me what God does and has done. Who is God in God's own life? The response would be a pious shrug of the shoulders. I don't know. When we ignore the Christian doctrine of the Trinity and we insist on a radically unitary understanding of God, where there are no personal distinction within the being of God, God becomes an enigma. There are no relationships of mutual and reciprocal knowing rooted within the very being of God, and so God is intrinsically unknowable. If this is how we understand God, our claims to know God are more an example of human presumption than real knowledge. It's important to understand that this claim to know God is not based on what has been called natural revelation, or what we try to deduce about God from nature and human experience. We root our authentic knowledge of God in the person of Christ, not in the abstract concept of God. This is why Christian faith can claim to really know God. What we need to understand is that when we compare this to the views of other monotheistic faiths, we must not be surprised when others say we are blasphemers for becoming too familiar with God.